Pratap Singh, you're joining us on this special interview on NewsX. We're in conversation today with filmmaker Abhinay Deo. Abhinay Deo is all set to thrill us with Brown, which of course is streaming on Zee5 this June. The teaser has already intrigued many. I've had the privilege of watching the trailer as well, and it is looking very, very exciting. The entire premise, of course, Karisma Kapoor in a never been before seen avatar, and many other layers, which obviously will unravel when we watch it. Abhinay, welcome. Thank you for speaking with us, firstly.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you.
It looks amazing. It looks very, very intriguing. Tell us the thought about making Brown, and what the intention was and what you're feeling now, given the feedback you're getting for the trailer and the teaser.
The teaser. Yeah, the teaser's out. Trailer will be out shortly.
Yeah.
But I think first of all, I have to thank everybody to have reacted in the way that they have reacted with just the teaser out. It's very heartwarming for us to know as makers, as the team, that something that we have spent so much time and effort doing is been appreciated, even if it's in the form of just a 40 seconds clip of it coming out. Yes, Brown was one of the most exciting projects, owing to a couple of things. For me, particularly because I was getting to work with Karishma, who I've seen, she's pretty much around the similar time where I was a youngster and growing up and watching. So getting to work with her was an exciting factor. Along with that, I think so many fantastic actors like Soni Razdan, KK Rana, Helen ma'am, Jishu Sen Gupta, Jinkya, who's my brother as well, and Surya, and so many other younger actors that I got to work with. It was such a potpourri of um, fantastic talent from very different parts of the country, which is
Yes.
in this series you might have seen in the teaser that Kolkata, it is based in Kolkata. It's based on
Yes.
a book written by Abik Barua called City of Death. And that it actually is such an interesting, why I said a potpourri of different kind of people, because the series actually revolves around characters who are, some are Anglo-Indians,
Yeah.
some are Marwadi, some is Bihari, somebody is UPite, somebody is a Bengali, and it's based in West Bengal in Kolkata,
Yeah.
city of Kolkata. And the fun part is that it is not just about a murder. It's not
Okay.
just about a crime thriller. It
Okay.
is it is a in-depth kind of glimpse into how the society at large is decaying
Yes.
in today's day and time.
Yeah.
It's a story which and all these things make it very interesting and exciting to work on. That how this story actually revolves around the different shades of gray that people have become, or the
You know, but
society.
But of course, you're talking about how excited you were to work with Karishma, and I'll get to the other characters in just a bit as well. But never before seen Avatar. How did you feel that she would fit in, and was she ready from the word go, or was she also a bit skeptical,
No,
hesitant
no,
because she
she
hasn't done
was.
something like this before?
Absolutely, and she was skeptical. She was a little apprehensive initially to say that, yeah, will I be able to do something like this? Because you're saying no makeup, no hair. I've always done glamorous role,
Yeah.
romantic roles. And that's what I'm known for. That's what my fan club or my fan base is all about. And I said, you know what? I think we'll never know until we do it. And I personally felt that she was right for it because I wanted someone who is not the stereotypical cast. That the first name that comes to me when I think of this role is not Karishma. And that's what's the best part about it. And I think I chose to even offer this role to her
Yeah.
because she was not the first choice. And when I say not the first choice, is not she was not the expected cast.
Okay.
And that's what I think makes it exciting.
No, you have
Yeah,
a fabulous ensemble. Just some of them I can mention Jishu and Suyash, and of course Helen G is there as well,
yeah,
and many more. And it
yeah,
looks so wonderful. And is this the beauty of OTT, Abhinay?
yeah,
You worked, of course, both on film and OTT and TV as well.
yeah.
But this is how OTT allows you to flesh out characters. Give them their own graph,
Very
much
true.
more than the other
Very true.
mediums.
Very true. And I think that's one of the biggest plus points that OTT has offered us, which is it's opened a plethora of cracks and doors and crevices for so many various actors and character artists to kind of come out of hiding. Some of them being generated as new, opportunities for people to come out and show their talent. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Now also, of course, last we saw you was Sabi, again, a thriller
Yeah,
in this very genre space. So
yeah.
is this your favorite genre? Is this Abhinay Deo's favorite genre? Is this what you love watching as well when you're free? Or is this the one you
No,
dabble in the most?
no, it's not like that at all. As a matter of fact, I think this is the genre which is consumed the most, and
Okay.
that's the reason why it feels like So what's consumed the most also will get made the most. So I, as a my, you will be surprised. My favorite genre is comedy.
Sure.
My favorite genre is dark comedies. Really,
Yeah.
Coen Brothers being some of my, one of my favorite directors to go to internationally. Rishida films and Basu Bhattacharya's films are my all-time classics for Indian. So I've grown up watching and consuming a lot of comedy. Uh, I've I have grown as a director, uh, thinking that while comedy could be your go-to thing or your favorite genre, but as a craftsman, you have to be. As a matter of fact, I would like to put my hand into places which offer me something new to do,
Mhm.
which I would like to touch upon genres which are actually far more challenging and something that you love, you find it pretty simple to handle.
Yes.
So that's the reason why I think thrillers, action are,
Okay.
while I'm not saying that they are not my favorite, I love them, but they are something which doesn't come to me first. So that's the reason why I think I love to do them more.
Okay. Okay. Talking though about comedies, which you say you love, now we saw a bit of a Delhi Belly reunion with
Huh.
Happy Patel,
Yeah,
which came out earlier in the year. People loved that scene and that crossover. And the music as well.
right.
So does that make you also feel happy? So many years after, and still this euphoria around Delhi Belly continues.
Yeah,
The moment you have Imran Veer and also Amir in a frame,
yeah.
there's a flashback to that. Does that also make you want to make this sequel that has been talked about for a while?
I know, even I've heard about this talk of the sequel. But yes, it is a nostalgic moment. It is something that I always have felt that there should be a second part. It'll happen when it'll happen, I suppose. Everything has its way of unfolding. I am sure the second part of Delhi Belly also will unfold surely.
Okay.
And so,
Again, so much of love for another project that came out earlier, 24, with it coming on OTT. I'm sure you've been getting a whole fresh barrage of messages and love and praise from audiences and
absolutely,
others. So
absolutely.
tell us about how that made you feel. And again, there's talk about a new season of that project too, 24.
Again, really hoping that that would also happen. And it is just, I think I'm blessed to have made such good content that people, even after 13 years, kind of, and in Delhi Belly's case, 15 years, that people still remember it, people still love it, and they still find it relevant. And that gives me that much more energy and hope, with which we can enter into series like Brown, into doing stuff like the newer stuff that I'm planning to do and going towards. So I think it's something really exciting and interesting, and thanks to OTT for that.
No, no. I remember telling you around the time of Gamerlog that, literally 24 was ahead of its time, and
Yeah,
kudos to you and Anil Kapoor and
yeah,
everyone else for doing it at that time. And that has really led to the modern day series, which we hadn't seen in India. But, coming back now to Brown and Z5, two quick questions before we end. One, how did you go about coining the title? Of course, it's the
Mhm.
name, I think, of your lead protagonist, but how did
Yes.
you fix Brown as your title? And two, how do you decide whether a project is fit for OTT or the big screen? What is the rationale that goes behind that thought?
So I'll answer the second question first, which is I think particularly this project, okay, why it was fit for OTT is what I believed in was that it was, first of all, it was a book. It is it is a book. It's based on a book. It adapted from a book called City of Death, um, and that book in itself is so incredibly dense in terms of of layers and characters and the kind of crime that it has and the kind of city that it shows and as Kolkata to be, that I felt that there is enough material for it not to be just a cinema or just a film of 2 hours or 2.5 hours. It would have needed much more time to kind of expose that, exploit that. So that was one. As far as Brown is concerned, and sorry, just to add a little more to the first question, is that I think, every story, every narrative speaks to you. It
Mhm.
tells you whether, you know, where does it find its house? Does it find its house in a 2 hour slot,
Mhm.
or does it find itself in a longer slot? I think as a filmmaker, it comes to you, and then you decide, okay, I definitely think that we should, make it into a series rather than a movie, or
Yeah,
the vice versa. So
yeah.
that, I think, the narrative speaks to you. You just have to have your ears open. The second, or rather the first question, which is why Brown. Okay, now we dabbled with tremendous number of names.
Okay.
Okay, actually, at one point of time, just to give you a small insight, which hardly anybody knows,
Yeah.
that the book was called City of Death, right? And at one point of time, for the longest time, okay, the caption that we had put in on the film, that it was going to be called Beheading, and I'm
Acha.
like, what? Really? Okay. So it was fun because
Yeah.
when you go through so many, when you have so many options,
Yes.
okay, of saying or calling a project or a piece of content, but somehow I always felt that it needs to be the name, and the name that the writer had chosen for Rita was for Karishma's character was Rita Brown,
Mm.
and she's an Anglo Indian. She plays an Anglo Indian.
Yeah.
Now, apart from the fact that she looks like an Anglo Indian, um, and Soni Razdan plays her mother, so the everything got driven from the fact that she was an Anglo Indian,
Mm.
and interestingly, as a title, Brown just felt very, very intriguing. It
Okay.
actually invokes certain amount of questions in your mind as to why
Okay.
is it brown? What do you mean by
Yeah.
brown? Is it the skin color? Is it what? Is it?
Yeah.
It's not the skin color. We are
Yeah.
not racist
Yeah.
people who want to call it. It's simple. It is the name of the protagonist.
Okay.
And but it does offer you a lot to think about.
Okay. But and interesting. The first title was also a B, and this is also a B.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, and thanks for that exclusive insight. We always like to get exclusive tidbits in our interviews. So there's one for our
Well,
viewers today. But thank you so much, Abhinay, for speaking with us. And as I said at the start, it looks very, very exciting, very intriguing. I'm sure audiences are going to love it once it streams on Z5 this June. Thank you for being with us.
thank you very much.